Hello, it's I Eat My Wheaties back again, and I'm just gonna go over the process you use to understand a card and what it wants to do, what archetypes to play it in, and how to win with a card. So when you look at a singular card, you need to understand the card, or else you're just looking at the card. If you don't understand the card, you might as well not look at it, right? So let's look at what the process you use. So you want to break down what archetypes a card can fit into. So I'm gonna take this card right off the bat because I just hovered over it. We've got a 2/1 for one, which is high tempo. It can be played early in the game. It's got 2 attack, 1 defense, and when it's summoned, it gets elusive. Elusive means it can't be blocked. So we can see inherently it's something that avoids blockers, which is inherently aggro. Right off the bat, it's an aggro card. The one tell is it can only be blocked by elusive units, which is a way of avoiding defenses, which is inherently an aggro property, right? We look at 1 health, it's weak. It another means it's not mid-range, right? Because mid-range usually want to be cards that have some way of weathering, surviving, defenses, and other creatures. So we can see it's not mid-ranged. We can see it's not control because it will often not trade 1 for 1. It doesn't have a lot of inherent value, right? It's not a large piece. It's not creating value. It's not creating other cards. And we can look at combo, and we can see it has some combo properties. How do we tell it has combo properties? Well, when I'm summoned, give me elusive this round. So right off the bat, it has an undercosted ability, right? So it's getting elusive undercosted, but it has a downside. So this is kind of the trademark, or not a trademark, but a tell of a combo card, right? Is when a card gets something for a discount. And a combo deck will often be able to take a card like this that has something for a discount and then make its weakness not a weakness. So its weakness is it only has elusive for a round. There's ways to work around that, right? You can unsummon it, resummon it, which would give it elusive on separate rounds. That's not necessarily a combo deck game plan, but you can do things like buff this up and yeah, buff it up basically in your hand, which would give it combo properties, right? So you're getting a discounted elusive tag that you can buff up in your hand and use as a 1-turn combination. So it's not like you can build a combo deck around this, but it has properties of combo and it has properties of aggro. So right off the bat, you can look at a card and break it down like that, right? So the process is, you go, what archetype does this fit into? Archetype does this fit into? And just by judging from a stat line, it's not mid-range. Judging by it doesn't create any value, it doesn't destroy any cards effectively, you can tell it's not control. And then you can see it avoids defensives, so you know it's aggro. And you can see that it has some discounts where you can manipulate tempo. So you can see it has combo properties as well. So that's the first thing you want to do, is you want to know the archetypes first of all. So watch my other video to understand archetypes, and then figure out how this card can complement those, right? So then after that, you want to break down what it's trying to do and how well it does it. So what is it trying to do? It's trying to be played and deal 2 damage for 1 mana. That's what it's trying to do, right? If we expand on that, what is it trying to do? Be played every single turn and deal 2 damage every turn. Now, what even more is it trying to do if we go further into that? Be played every single turn and be buffed every single turn and deal damage every single turn, right? So we can go on layers of what it's trying to do. Like optimally, we can go what it wants to do at a base level, and then more optimally what does it want to do, more optimally what does it want to do. So most optimally, we can look at this wants to be buffed and resummoned. That's the most optimal we can get, right? So how well does it do that? Pretty well, because it's got a 1 mana cost tag. So it does what it does pretty well. How easy is it to stop that, and what stops that is the next step, right? We gotta go look at, this is what it's trying to do, is get buffed, be played each turn optimally. And on a baseline also, it could just be played as a 1 mana, deal 2 damage to face, and then a 2/1 body, right? That's the baseline of what it's trying to do. But it can do more as you get optimally and more optimally to play to this card. And then we look at what stops it from doing what it wants to do. 1 damage stops it from doing what it wants to do, right? That's it. 1 damage will stop it, so it's pretty fragile, is the descriptive word I would use. So you want to look at what will stop it and how easy it is to stop it, right? So dealing 1 damage is fairly easy to stop, and that's what will stop it. Other elusive blockers will stop it. Less easy to stop, right? So that's less of a thing you have to worry about with this card. They're less common. So that you just want to break that down. And I'm sure there's more layers that I've missed, but that's the general process you want to go through is, okay, what archetype does this fit into? And then what exactly is it trying to do? And then once you get that, you go, okay, since I know what it's trying to do, what will stop it from doing what it's doing? And how easy is it? So what is it trying to do? And how well can it do it? Then what will stop it? And how easy is that? But those are pretty much worthless if you can't figure out what archetype to put it into in the first place. So that's the first step, is you need to figure out what archetype does this card fit into? What role is it trying to do? And that's just the simple 3-step process of figuring a card out, right? So if I were to use that process and look at this card, I would say it's an aggro card with combo properties that synergizes with self-recall abilities and buff effects, and it's fragile to removal, is what I would say. So that's my quick analysis, just using little 3 steps. So it's an aggro card that's synergizes with buffs and recalls, and it's fragile. A fragile aggro card that synergizes with buffs and recalls. Overall, I would say this is a really strong card. If your 1 mana card is fragile, that's fine, right? You're not investing a lot into it. Most 1 mana cards will be fragile, but it is still fragile. Fact. And that, my friends, is how to understand a card. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.